Hello. Welcome, guys. Um, not sure if my guest is late or a mix up in time, so we'll go ahead and give it a few minutes to see what happens. But I'm pretty sure they are well busy. Like I said, we'll give it a few, see what happens, but you can say hello to everybody. I see we have Cashew in here, Dana B, Will It Grow, PNW. I think that's about it for now. It's kind of weird for me to go live again on Mondays, but I kind of want to stretch it out and some guests that I've got coming up and whatnot. Hello, Alan. We got Pat, Susie D. Hope you guys are doing good. I keep checking my email, see if there's any messages or anything. Don't see anything yet, so we'll have to see. And unfortunately, sometimes when the time change is different for folks, yeah, there's a mix up. But I try to make sure I always put Eastern Standard Time. Hello, Sarah. Got Autumn Leaf. How you doing tonight? Oh, got outside, got some more work to done. It's so nice when it's green out and everything's nice out, and you're not freezing your bum off. Hi, Shift Kicker. Yeah, we're waiting for the guest to show up at the moment. Hopefully, was it a mix up? I'll wait for about a few more minutes and I'll send an email out and see if I can get a hold of them. And this is their busy season, so I'm pretty sure they're really busy. 85. Yeah, I think it was close to the 80s today. It was nice out. And being a YouTuber, you always want to record stuff, but then you get to the point to where you want to get stuff done. So I'm out there and I'm like, oh, this would make a good part for a video and I could do this. And I'm like, but let me just get it done. So, yeah, you have to fight yourself sometimes not to pick up the camera and set it somewhere and just record. I'll probably do some more recording tomorrow. I've got some more hopefully to get the rest of my planting in and work on some raised beds or something for some beans. If I have the soil. Hello, Joe Carroll. I got Kim in here too. Yeah, the porch talk. I forgot what I even called it when I used to do that. And I used to do it in the wintertime too. So I had to wait in between when heaters came on and then record real quick because once the heaters, from being in a city, when a heater goes off, you hear it through people's houses and whatnot. Hey, Heroic. Oh, yeah. I went to go pick up some because I got some painting, well, some staining to do. And I went to go pick up, you know, some of them little cheap paintbrushes, the little foam ones that you just throw away when you're done. Went to Ollie's, and when I went to Ollie's, they used to have some, you know, for $1, $2, and they're all out. But they had just a regular paintbrush that was under $2, so I just went ahead and got that. That way, when I'm done with it, I can just toss it. It's just a small project. It's not worth trying to clean up or anything like that. And then what you guys will probably see tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. I got a video out me planting potatoes again, showing everybody how to do the potatoes, and I found a thing to plant them in. Hey, Heroic. Yeah, actually, the porch talk video was supposed to come out this morning because I recorded it this morning. I was out there at 7:30 this morning, just to swing and thought, well, I might as well record something. So I went ahead and recorded it, and it took all day to upload, not upload, to check. Just a little video, you know. I didn't really say anything against any rules or anything. It's just a normal chit chat video, and it took longer than my other videos did, because some of my videos I'll upload 2-3 days ahead of time. Yeah, I do believe everybody said that, and didn't he pass from? I'm not going to say what from, but yeah. And I didn't want to call it porch talk because everybody says that that's something that he used, so I wasn't sure. But when I did it before, that was brought up a lot. And nobody said I was, like, you know, stealing people's content or anything like that. It was all real nice comments about it. And, you know, it's a bird, and that bird was about, if it was a little bit closer, I would have been a little chew toy for my cats. That bird would not shut up. I was hoping you guys didn't hear that bird. Hey, Jess. And yeah, it's not my bird. It's a bird that just sits out there and at me. I'll set up on a swing. He'll just about 8 feet away, just far enough to where I can't get at him. Funny thing is, I might start bringing my cat out there, one of my cats, because they like sitting out there and swinging. I might bring him out, and because they don't like when cats are out there. Oh, did you? Yeah, I didn't. I was only out long enough to go buy a paintbrush at Ollie's, and that was it. That was about it. I went to Goodwill too. I hadn't been there for a few days, so I figured go over and check it out. Yeah, I knew somebody that wasn't a creator, but he used to do streaming and everything. And I don't know what kind of bird it was, but it knew bad words. And every time he'd stream, you'd hear somebody chewing him out in the background. And he said, "There's nobody there. It's really it is my bird." Everybody thought that there was somebody in the background chewing him out. Well, let's see here. Sent. I'll go ahead and send him a new email real quick here. And unfortunately, with my email, everybody knows that I send email to, for some reason, this thing has my name as Hi. So sometimes I'm afraid that somebody's going to see Hi and think it's, telemarketer or something. East High School? You need we only have one high school here. Or are you thinking Zanesville? And why is my bot spamming so much? It's not even the right bot. Is my other bot in there? Yeah, he's in there. Oh, so you got one of those birds too. I need a couple more clues so I can. You don't want to do that. Yeah, the local sheriff already has a file on my fans. And I'm not talking about the good fans like you guys, the bad ones. I never thought I would have a file for such a thing, but yeah. Oh, yeah, everybody knows. Yeah, if I had to do over again, I would have had the PO box in the next town over. But yeah, everybody already knows I'm in Coshocton, Ohio. Oh, are you? That must be some some good news coming out today then. I don't know. I haven't. Well, I do know some things that are going on, like stuff going on with Iran. Oh, there we go.
Hey,
Hello.
dude, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Well, good deal. Sorry about that. I had some issues come up and time got away from me.
Oh, I understand. Well, how you doing?
We're doing wonderful down here. It's been a nice warm day. We got a little rain over the weekend, so everything's good.
Oh yeah, yeah. We could use some of that rain. It's been a few days, and it was just a little sprinkle.
Yep. Been gardening. We've been in the garden a lot. We're down here in the deep south, so our garden's wide open right now.
Oh yeah, I bet. Um, well, we're here, so why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? And I know there's kind of two parts to you, because you have, you know, the seed business, and then you have your channel.
Yeah, so my name's Greg Key. I started Hoss Tools back in 2008, and our goal was to give people the supplies, tools, and knowledge to be able to grow your own food, to be more self-sufficient. So we started out by making tools and selling some of the tools, and then just about 5 or 6 years ago, we got in the seed business also. So we try to be kind of a full service thing where you can get your tools, your seeds, and your supplies. And if we can help you with the knowledge thing along the way, we try to be a full service, store, so that you can get everything there. That's kind of our thing.
Yeah, and I've gotten seeds from other places. I still do every once in a while. I don't know why, but I still do. But my favorite seeds that I've gotten from you guys were your heirloom purple Cherokee tomatoes.
Yeah.
I have never had one of those seeds not germinate.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll buy a pack from somebody else, a whole pack. Like this year, I came across strawberry spinach, and I planted a whole row of it. Not one came up.
Yeah. We take a lot of pride in our germination. We test our germination every 6 months. And we also have a huge climate controlled cooler and packing rooms that we keep our seeds in. We also control the humidity as well. So controlling the humidity and the temperature lengthens the life of that seed dramatically.
Oh yeah, I bet. And like I said, every seed that I've gotten, I've got the pickles. I can't remember what kind, but I just call them pickles. Okra, which I'm up here in the north, but I've lived in the south, so there's not too many people know what okra is up here. And I've had people come over and, what the hell is that thing?
Yeah.
And I said, that's okra. What do you do with it?
One of the things I've come to appreciate later on in life is pickled okra. I love pickled okra.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of it in soup, but I like it fried.
Right.
Fried okra and pickled okra is probably my favorite.
Sure.
And well, you for your channel, I didn't even know you had a channel until recently, and I was looking through on the website and seen, oh, YouTube, really? And I went and checked it out, and you guys were clearing land and everything for your garden, or your garden area, I should say, for your little, your sitting area and whatnot.
Yeah, we've been in the YouTube game probably 13 years. Man, that's been a journey there. So we started out like everybody else, thinking that everything had to be perfect, and we kind of evolved along the way. And then we just realized, you just got to be yourself. give people what they want, give them some good information, and just move on. And that's what we've learned to do, is try to do that. But it's enjoyable. The biggest, as you well know, it takes a lot of time to create content. And
Oh yeah.
sometimes we get burnt out, we get down on ourselves because we don't have time. And then you'll get one of those emails or you'll get one of those phone calls which just tells you how important what you have been able to contribute means to somebody. And then that gives you that pep up to get started again, to go out there and create more content. When you realize what you're doing really is being able to help someone, you understand what you're doing is important, and it gives you more reason to do what you do.
Yep. Yeah, that's the thing. When you, and I give advice for prepping and some garden stuff, and it's mainly stuff that I've learned by just doing.
Right.
And every once in a while you get an email or a letter or something telling how you help somebody out, and that makes you want to stay, because I've came close multiple times to just shutting it down because I get in trouble for saying a certain thing, or even though it's the truth, but yeah.
Or
So
just simply the grind of having to get out there and create the content sometimes just gets you down a little bit. But it's in the end, it's all worthwhile.
yeah, I was talking about it earlier here. Is I'm working outside and I'm thinking, oh, that'd be a good part of the video, but I just want to get it done. So I don't want to stop and then set things up and, and have to talk to a camera and then go through it, which an hour job would actually take 2 hours if you have to record it.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to pick one or the other.
Right. Sometimes it gets in the way of getting things done.
Yeah, that it does. What would you say for seeds? What are some of your top seeds that you sell a year?
Well, our top seeds is our Hossinator line. So we've developed a Hossinator line in the last couple of years. We've got a tomato. We've got a couple of different peppers. We've got a couple of different cucumbers. We've got a slice and pepper. And we've got some more coming out. But we try to develop some varieties that do extremely well in the South, because you've lived in the South or been in the South. We have high humidity. We have a lot of disease pressure down here. So we've developed that line there to be able to grow specifically well in the South. It'll grow in the North as well, but it grows well down here, and it's able to handle our insect pressure and our disease pressure. That has probably been our best seller, but I'm also a big proponent of growing things that you don't have to buy every year. And there's a few on my list here I'd love to talk about if you like for me to.
Oh, go
Things
ahead.
that are we consider sustainable. Because what is truly sustainable? Well, something that is truly sustainable means that you don't have to go out and buy it every year. You can create that for itself. One of my favorite things is sweet potatoes. So you can take sweet potatoes, grow your crop off, and save some of those sweet potatoes from your harvest, put them in a cool, dry spot. And next spring, or you can plant those in a raised bed, or you can plant those things in the ground. Maybe put a little plastic over them or a little straw over them, and they will shoot up what we call draws or slips, and you can harvest those and plant them. So once you get you a good crop going, so you should never have to buy sweet potato plants again. You can grow your own every year. I've got mine growing out there in a raised bed right now. I got 2 little raised beds that I'm growing my slips in. I'm able to harvest those and plant them in my garden, and then I will make potatoes, and it's just an evolving circle that I never have to have another input in to have potatoes. Another great thing about sweet potatoes is they store well without any kind of refrigeration. So we
Mhm.
can take those sweet potatoes after we harvest them. We have to let them cure for about 6 to 8 weeks. But after they cure, we can put them in underneath a shed, or as my grandparents used to do, you could put them underneath the house. a shaded area that's out of direct sunlight, and those things will keep for months. So you got a ready-made food source to go out there and get whenever you need to eat some type of potato or you want to enjoy some type of sweet potato. And you never again, as long as you keep that cycle going, will have to have inputs to have sweet potatoes for the rest of your life. There's a few more on that list. There's a multiplying onion that we're big believers in. We call it the TOM, THOM, multiplying onion. And we found it that it grows all over the South. We got some from Texas, we got some from Alabama, we got some from Georgia, and we compared the three, and there really wasn't any difference in them. But these onions are perennials. So you can plant them and you can harvest them and eat them sort of as scallions or spring onions, and they multiply within that bulb. And you just simply take that bulb apart and split them apart and replant them. And you can have several different onions from that mother plant. And there again, it's just a cycle that keeps going year after year. If it comes in the wintertime or if it comes in the hot summertime that you don't want to grow, just simply dig them up, put them in a cool, dry spot. Come fall or come spring, whatever, plant them back and they start growing again. Another one of those things that you never have to buy. Again, you got to supply them for the rest of your life if you keep that cycle going. So I'm a big believer in some of those things like that, because you know what? You never know what you may have to face one of these days. We've seen that during COVID, something that I never thought I would see. But there was a couple of days there that we couldn't go to town and get groceries. So being able to be self-sufficient with those type of things, that you don't have to rely on a seed store or something like that to provide for you food, I'm big believers in.
Oh yeah. And I one thing that I noticed that you got, that if I was in a different area, I'm still thinking about getting some, is turmeric.
Yeah. There again, it's the same thing. We're getting another shipment in tomorrow. We're going to have some for sale next week. We're having a hard time sourcing it. Same exact thing. Once you buy it and get your seed stock, you never have to purchase again. You can grow your own turmeric, save that turmeric, that tube from next year, replant it. There you go again. It multiplies.
Yeah. If I had like a covered porch or something to where I could bring it in, because up here in the north, you can't leave it outside.
Right.
So I'd bring it in the house or something. But yeah, I'm still hoping. I'm still looking.
Yeah, it wouldn't survive the winters in your area unless you brought it inside.
Yeah. But I seen that I got and I get the ads all the time, the different things, like you just had the giant sunflowers too. that just popped up too.
Yep.
So
And I don't know
just
if you knew this or not on sweet potatoes, but you can actually eat the vine as well.
Oh yeah.
It's wonderful.
And I have rabbits, and they go crazy over them.
They do.
And there's so many of them. You just trim some off and give them to the rabbits, and they just num 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 num.
Yep.
Yep. I grew sweet potatoes last year, trying them in the grow bags to see if they would do anything. And I'd go over and about every couple of days and clip some off and give them to the rabbits. And the end of the year, I really didn't think I'd maybe get finger size sweet potatoes, and there was huge potatoes in that thing, and I was like, wow, that actually worked.
Yeah. And they're fun to grow too, because they'll grow during the summer when everything else is kind of struggling a little bit.
Yeah. And I didn't have any bugs or anything messing with them or nothing. And that's the different. I would rather grow sweet potatoes than potatoes. The only reason I went with potatoes this year is because Roll King over here had some bags, and they were selling for $1.50 a bag. So I had picked up some purple potatoes and figured to give them a go this year.
Well, you know, Irish potatoes, that's another thing that I believe everybody should grow too. We grow them every year, and then we put them underneath the shed, just like we do our sweet potatoes, and we have a food source there for 6 months.
Yeah, and you did a good video on how you did your potatoes and stuff. Because a lot of people ask me about potatoes for some reason.
Yep.
um,
Another thing I have found is a couple of pumpkins that does well here in the South. This heirloom pumpkins that really perform well in our harsh environment where other pumpkins will not. We found a couple of old pumpkins. One of them's called Seminole, the other one's called Cherokee Tan. And as you might think, both of them are old Indian heirloom varieties. And both of those will grow and thrive down here in the South during the hot parts of the month, where most pumpkins will not. And we like to grow those, and we like to save our seed from those every year. And also, they make great pie pumpkins. So there again, that's something once you get your, the cycle going, you can keep those alive. I can't tell a lot of difference in the Cherokee and the Seminole, but both of them are very resilient.
yeah, if I had the space, that's another crop I would, because the pumpkins are, you can dehydrate them, turn them into flour, and there's so much you can eat, the seeds and the flowers and all kinds of
Yep.
stuff. Yeah, and also I love watching your videos on tomatoes, because there are a few people out there, I don't know why, in blossom rot. I see them spraying things on their plants. Why? That's not going to do anything. And when that's one of the first things you said, you don't spray it on the plant. You feed it to the roots, and it goes up into the tomato where it's supposed to go. And
there's so many misconceptions out there on tomatoes and blossoming rot, and so many opinions out there. Some of them, unfortunately, are not good. It's amazing to me how much information and misinformation is out there on the web.
Yeah, and that's the thing that surprised me the most, and the difference in, there's some people that pluck the suckers off, and there's some people leave them on. For me, whenever I plant something, because I'll plant them inside, and then I'll harden them and do it. Except for this year, I kind of screwed up and left them out overnight. But when I plant them in the ground, and then you see in the next few days you start getting flowers, or you'll get buds and everything. You might even get a tomato or two. I'll go out there with my little snippers, and I'll snip off all the flowers. And then, what are you doing that for? And you want the plant to grow first before you get the fruit.
Yeah, we'll pinch them off sometimes if we want to get more plant growth. I do the same thing.
Yeah. Well, we're at the point here that we can, if anybody's got any questions in chat, go ahead and, if you can, put it in caps so we can see it, or tag me in it. Yeah, I would say peppers are pretty easy, especially up here. Just you got to make sure the ground's warm enough.
Yeah, peppers down here, we can grow them, but we have thrip, which is an insect. We have a lot of insect pressure down here. It's kind of rough on our peppers. We do a pretty good job of that, but we have to make sure we control those insects.
Yeah, you guys do have a bit more bugs down there.
Yeah, I tell people, I said, we got bugs you guys have never seen before.
That's so true. But I don't know. Most time when I was down there, as was mainly a kid, I was never really bothered me with the bugs and stuff.
Yeah, I was born and raised here. That we've gotten used to it.
And you can get, I guess I could get the, let me go ahead and get your, it's hosstools.com.
Correct.
Yeah, that's probably the easiest way. I'll go ahead and post it. He's wanting to know about your Cherokee pumpkins there. Oh, so what other things you got planned for your channel?
Well, we've touched on doing some things about growing inside, like lettuces and microgreens and baby greens. We'll probably work on that a little bit more later on this year. Um, we're interested in just helping people. We look at the way we figure out the content we want to create. A lot of times we look at our pain points, or we look at what people ask. Okay, how can I grow peppers? And that's the way we make our content. You know, this is how you grow peppers. We look at those stumbling blocks that people have, and we try to address those with our content. Is our biggest thing. But I do think we will probably move into, especially when cold weather gets here. I think there's a lot of things you can do inside underneath grow lights as far as growing your salads and a lot of your leafy greens during the winter months that people's missing out on. And I would like to see more people take advantage of that instead of having to rely on the stores for your salads. You could grow your own salads basically year round.
It's especially now that there's so much listeria going around with the so many recalls. There was just another one for spinach and turnip greens, and there's a whole list of,
Right.
and it seems like it's all the time.
Yeah. The weird thing about lettuces and spinach and all that, they grow wonderful in the environment that we like to be in, like 70, 72, 75 degrees. At the same temperature you keep inside your house is the ideal temperature for growing these leafy vegetables. So you can take advantage of that. All you really need is a grow light.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And most people who garden and stuff, they usually, I mean, diehard gardeners, they start from seeds, and they have grow lights in their house just for that purpose,
Right.
to get a jump start on growing. And that's where I started at. And there's different methods for, the microgreens and the lettuces and stuff like that. I like the butter crunch lettuce, because it's an easy one little pot, and you got a big old nice little head of butter crunch lettuce.
Yeah, that's probably one of my all-time favorites. It's hard to get away from that one.
Yeah. And this is from Will It Grow. He said calcium nitrate works well.
Yeah, calcium nitrate works extremely well, and I always recommend rotating calcium nitrate with a good balanced fertilizer, whether it's an organic or whether it's a synthetic. Calcium nitrate is my go-to nitrogen source for my peppers and tomatoes for blossom end rot. And then I like to supplement something in there which we call gypsum, which is some of the farmers right here called land plaster, but it is strictly a calcium source. And we just take a handful of that to throw on each side. And for people that don't have access to it, if you know anybody that's building a house or has gypsum or putting sheetrock in their house, and they got all these scraps left over that they're going to throw away everything, you can take those scraps, take your hammer, beat them up, and that's the exact same thing. It's a wonderful calcium source for your peppers and tomatoes.
Yeah. And I did. There's a lot of talk about putting milk on your tomatoes and peppers. You just have to be careful, because you can get stuff that you don't want when doing that. And I found even another source is the just plain old powdered milk.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of you get away from getting that spoilage from the
Right.
regular milk.
Yeah, but if you know somebody's doing a construction project, it wouldn't hurt to go by there and pick up, because they're gonna throw it away anyway. Pick up some
Oh
of
yeah.
that, put it underneath the shelter. It'll last for a long time. You can always have your little bit of a calcium source back there in the barn.
Yeah, that's true. I used it. Um, I replaced a couple walls up here, and my kids was going to throw it away. No, 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 no! Don't throw it away. What are you going to use it for? And I said, put it in the garden.
Yeah.
What are you going to do that for? Yeah. Oh. So when does your season kind of slow down?
4th of July, we'll pretty much be through with our spring vegetables. The only thing we'll have left growing after the 4th of July will be okra. And we like to grow a lot of flowers, sunflowers, things like that. We can grow those off summer long. We'll have okra growing, sweet potatoes growing, and flowers pretty much after that. And then we will start here in the Deep South. We'll start our fall gardening probably in August.
Yeah. And that's where it'd be good to, well, up here, it'd be a good time to grow the garlic and the turmeric and stuff, because it takes a year to get going.
Right.
Well, there you go. See,
You
even
can add too much calcium to your soil, but it's hard to do that. You can get calcium toxicity, but it's very hard to do that. So you want to make sure you don't want to go crazy with it, but you can put plenty of it out there, and just don't overdo it completely with it. You'll be fine.
well, yeah, it's that's like I've seen a lot of people putting lime in and sour their dirt or their soil.
Yep. We see that quite often. I always recommend, if you're going to put lime out, do a soil sample first to know
Yeah.
where your pH is at. Because if you put too much of it out there, you're going to have a problem that's going to take a long time to straighten out.
Yeah, it's harder to reverse it than you can always add more. It's hard to
Yep.
take it away. Okay, here's a question. Do you get one sweet potato per slip or more than one slip?
Oh, you'll get more than one sweet potato per slip. Also, you're going to get something what we call is pin potatoes. So when that vine runs out and pins down, it'll also put on smaller potatoes out there. And we always call those pin potatoes because that's an added bonus. But you'll get way more than one potato per slip.
Yes, I myself, I would rather eat sweet potatoes over. And there's a lot of people that just don't like sweet potatoes, but I and to me, they're healthier for you than regular potatoes. For those who have issues with eating potatoes and whatnot, it's a total different vegetable, basically.
Yeah, sweet potatoes are in the nightshade family, which is in the same family as your, no, excuse me, I've got this wrong. Sweet potatoes in the morning glory family, and Irish potatoes are in the uh, nightshade family. So they're
Oh,
two completely different families.
um, yep. Sweet potatoes are yummy, delicious. um, I seen you doing your raised beds. Um, I'll put it this way: the pickaxe, I'm allergic to those things. I'll break out when I pick one of those things up.
Yeah, it's not as friendly to me as it used to be.
I seen you swinging that thing, and I'm like, oh, I can just feel it.
Yep. It took me a couple days to get over that one. You know, the weird thing, you know, we was all younger once. When I was a young man, wouldn't have bothered me at all. But at this stage in the game, it takes a little recouping to do after a good hard day on the pickaxe.
There's a question for you.
Why do you call it okra? Okra. Yeah, that's kind of a little thing that we started here years ago. We call it okra. Some of the southern people mispronounce okra and they call it okra.
But you had those raised beds. Those things were nice. And you guys connected them all in a straight line and everything. And even leveled them out. So they're all level.
Yeah, that was a pretty good job. You know, they turned out really well. She's got most of them planted, and I'm in the middle of putting irrigation in them all. But I think it's something that she'll enjoy for a lot of years to come. That's going to be her garden down there. I got my garden up here. So I think it's something. She stayed out there all day Saturday working in it and enjoying it. She's growing a lot of herbs and different things down there. She's even growing peanuts and whatnot. So it'll be
Peanuts?
interesting to see how all that, you know, works out for her.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind growing peanuts one day.
Or it froze up.
Oh, there I'm back.
Yep.
Dang it. It always seems when I have somebody up here that it wants to do this.
The joys of technology.
It keeps thinking I'm on Wi-Fi. I'm not on Wi-Fi. But anyway, I was talking about peanuts, and down south, everybody knows what boiled peanuts are. Up here, why do you boil them? It's for peanut butter, and it's you try to explain it, and nobody understands. I know it's different.
Yeah, boiled peanuts down here is a fall ritual. Everybody loves to boil peanuts.
Yeah, and it's yeah. I'll try to tell people up here about boiled peanuts. Why would you want that? Um. Okay, here's another question.
Okay, so a sweet potato slip is what we do is we take the regular potatoes that we had from last year and we plant them in the ground, and we plant them very thick, almost touching one another. And that sweet potato will sprout out and it'll throw up what we call a slip, if you can see here, that comes up out of the ground about 12 inches. We pull that off, and that's what we plant in our garden. That is what's considered a sweet potato slip. Now, that sweet potato will put off more than one slip. It'll put off several of them. So we get to harvest several of those slips to grow more potatoes. And that's, some people call them draws, some people call them slips, but it is the shoots that come off of the actual sweet potato.
Okay. Yeah, and you guys and you offer them on the website too. So
We do. So if anybody's wanting to get started, they can buy them some slips the first year, get them growing. And if you take care of everything and do everything correctly, you should never have to buy sweet potatoes again.
And that's just like the um, uh, purple Cherokee tomatoes seeds I got from you. The first year, I just wanted to try them, see what they turned out to be. And that's my favorite tomato.
Yeah.
I fell in love with them. So next year I planted it. I planted an extra one just to turn the seed. So I would that's the only thing I would harvest off of that, just for seeds. And ever since then, all the seeds sprout right back up.
All right.
There's another one. Want you to pull a slip off the sweet potato. Can you eat the sweet potato that you pulled the slip off of?
That's a good question. I don't think so. I think they will probably rot out. So I don't think you're going to be able to harvest that particular sweet potato. I think it's going to give up all its energy into those shoots and then probably rot on out once it does that. You know, regular potatoes, we cut those up and we cut the eyes off and plant those. So it's a little bit different. And
Yeah,
then that potato will actually rot off once that plant gets going. So the sweet potato probably does the same thing. It's going to just kind of rot out once it gives all
it
this
gets mushy. Yeah,
mushy, gives all this energy off into the sweet potato slips.
yeah. But that one potato or one sweet potato can put out a lot of slips.
Absolutely.
Um, well, I don't see any more questions here. I think I might have missed some whenever my internet decided to choke on me. Oh. Well, the last video I watched, and you guys also do lives too.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, unfortunately, I'm live when you guys are live, so it's kind of hard for me. 'Cause most I'll go back and watch them now. You have great lives, and um, are you guys planning on setting up where your garden area is?
You know, we've talked about that. It would take some, we had to have Wi-Fi here. So we would have to have some, which things are a little better now than they used to be. We would have to have Wi-Fi out in the garden, but it's definitely something we've talked about in the past. But then you got the weather to deal with and all that. Maybe something we do in the future. It'd be interesting, I think, for sure.
Yeah, windy days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a thing where I go out on the porch and talk, but summertime it's real hard because I'm in a city, unfortunately, and up up north and east, everybody's houses are crammed next to each other. So when somebody's AC comes on,
Yeah.
and it kind of messes up the sound. So yeah. Um, Sweet potatoes grown in a plant. Yeah.
You know, sweet potatoes are one of those things that actually does pretty good in a container because they don't grow up, they grow out.
Yeah.
And then you can, like we talked about earlier, you can harvest all those sprigs that come out and cook those and or feed them to your animals. So sweet potatoes are one of the things that you can grow well in a raised bed, a root pouch, or any type of container. Unlike some other things like corn, corn just does not do good in containers and raised beds. So if you don't have much area, sweet potatoes is definitely an option there.
Yeah. And like I said, I think it was a 20-pound grow bag, and I probably ended up with at least 15 pounds of potatoes out of that thing. Because I figured once I dump it out, I'm just going to be looking around for little bitty things like that. And it was packed full of sweet potatoes in there. And wow.
Yeah.
This is a tobacco question here.
Oh, that's a good one there. We actually started selling tobacco seeds this last year, and I got tobacco growing in my garden right now. And a tobacco leaf will produce a lot of tobacco. I don't know exactly what to tell you, but I got huge leaves out there on my tobacco plants now. And I got to tell you, it's one of the funnest things to grow because it has such big leaves and it grows so quick. I've just had a ball growing tobacco this time. I don't know exactly what I want to do with it because I'm not a smoker, but we probably going to make some type of tincture with it or something like that. Because if you don't know this, tobacco leaves are wonderful medicines for insect bites to pull the poison out of the sting. So we may end up making something like that out of it, but it's just fun to grow. They have a pretty flower on them as well.
Yeah, I've harvested. I got a job one time, and I don't know what the weird tool was, but it had a hook blade on it, and you had to go. Whoosh, whoosh. It wore me out pretty dang quick. But
Yeah,
as one job I wouldn't want to do again.
yeah, I
We
can
got
share that as well.
another question. When do you plant strawberries?
Now, down here in the south, we're in zone 8. We plant our strawberries in October and we overwinter ours and we harvest them early spring.
Yeah, totally different up here.
Yeah.
um, Unfortunately, I don't have a way to put nets and stuff over all mine. I end up feeding the birds. Dang birds. I got all happy. I had a nice big strawberry out there one time, and I'm like, I'm waiting, just waiting for it to get the perfect ripeness. And I go out my front porch and walk toward the back, and I see a bird out there, and I go, shoo. He flew away with that my big strawberry in his mouth.
Yes, the birds love them. You know, netting with growing strawberries is just about a necessity.
Yeah, I found that out the hard way. Yep. My son wanted me to grow strawberries this year. No, I don't want to feed the birds again.
Yeah.
Uh, and they're good. If you can get a bed full of them, they'll sprout back up every year.
Yeah, you know, the weird thing is we can grow them as perennials, but we most time grow them as an annual down here. So once they're gone, we just let them go and we replant again in the fall because we have a lot of disease pressure in the summertime. It's very hard for a strawberry plant to make it all summer long. But you know, we do our onions the same way. We plant our onions in November, overwinter those, and we harvest our onions in March.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't think they'd last up here in the wintertime.
Oh no. About
um,
the Tennessee, Georgia border is about the line where you can't get away with that anymore. So if you're below that line, you can overwinter your onions. If you're above that line, you're just going to have to wait to early spring.
Let me see. There's somebody had a question. TJ, is that the question? The website? I'm looking. That's the question twice. Okay. Is that the question there?
Do we have a manual tool that will break up the Texas muck? Oh, that Texas muck can be tough. We Our best selling tool is a wheel hoe, and it's got a little wheel on there and handles that you push. And we have all different kind of implements now. We have a couple of implements that are very tough that works in heavy clay soils that I recommend. Those would be the cultivator teeth and also the oscillating hoe. So those may help you with some of your weed control in that Texas muck. We don't have anything that's a manual tool that you can go over there and break it up and maybe turn it over. We don't have anything like that.
Okay, and there's another one. What is the best soil for blackberries in Oklahoma?
Blackberries love like a neutral pH or maybe around 6.0 to 6.5 pH soil, well drained, good fertility, good high organic matter soils is what blackberries love. They will grow in some marginal land, like if you got some sandier places out there, they will grow in that if you feed them and irrigate them a little bit. Blackberries are very resilient, but for them to thrive, you maybe have to baby them along just a little bit. I like to water mine occasionally, give them a little food occasionally. Blackberries are fun to grow, and I love eating them.
Yeah, that's one of my raspberries and blueberries and blackberries, probably my favorite as a fruit. And they're probably the best for you because they don't raise your sugar or anything like that, like
Right.
other fruits do. Well, it's about that time. It's already 8 o'clock. Anything you want to say to everybody out there before we cut it loose here?
Well, our gig is we want everybody to get outside to enjoy what the good Lord has given us. Try growing your own food. If you're not a seasoned gardener that's good at what you do, don't give up. Get out there, start small. I always recommend start small, try to learn. But the gift or the skill set of growing your own food to be able to grow a good, thriving garden is something that you'll take to your grave and you can teach your children, your grandchildren. So I would highly recommend you, if you've not gotten into growing your own food, to get into it and start at it. Try to learn as much as you can. And the main thing is just get out there and enjoy every day of it.
Yeah, get out in front of get away from in front of that TV.
Yeah.
Well, I thank you for hanging out with us tonight, and want everybody to go over there and check out the website and his channel. He has a great channel, a lot of information on that channel.
Well, thank you. I appreciate having me. I'm sorry I was a little late, but we've enjoyed it.
That's okay.
It's been a ball.
Yeah. And we'll be back here Wednesday with Garden State Gardener.